You know how every once in a while a bike comes along that completely resets expectations? Well, that's exactly what Kawasaki seems to be doing with the upcoming 2026 Ninja ZX-6R. I feel like we're witnessing one of those moments where a brand decides to push a middleweight supersport into a whole new era. And honestly, if even half the rumors and leaks turn out to be true, this could be one of the most exciting Ninjas we've seen in a decade. From the moment you see it, the 2026 model looks different. Like Kawasaki took the aggressive DNA of the classic ZX-6R and infused it with modern superbike-inspired lines. The front end looks sharper, the LED signature is even angrier, and the whole bodywork feels more sculpted, almost aerodynamic in a way the previous models never leaned into. There's this sense that Kawasaki wanted the 600 class to feel premium again, and they're not shy about giving the bike a big visual upgrade that matches the tech inside. And speaking of tech, okay, this might be the wildest part. For the first time ever on a Ninja 600, we're hearing that Kawasaki is experimenting with a small hybrid assist system. Nothing crazy like a Prius motorcycle, don't worry. It's more of a performance booster, a tiny electric motor that fills in torque at low RPM and smooths out power delivery. Basically, imagine the classic ZX-6R punch, but with extra low-end shove that helps you launch harder, ride smoother, and maybe even get slightly better fuel economy. It's like Kawasaki is using hybrid tech the way it should be used, keeping the fun, just making it cleaner and faster. What surprised me most is that they're also tuning this thing for more versatile riding. Not off-road in the dirt bike sense, but more like those light adventure features we're seeing brands experiment with. There's talk of a slightly more forgiving suspension mode, some traction control mapping borrowed from their Versus line, and even a hybrid boost setting meant to help during low traction situations. So imagine the ZX-6R still being a razor on twisty roads, but now also a little calmer and more capable when you're riding on rougher surfaces, pothole-heavy streets or long urban commutes. And riders have been asking Kawasaki for this next part for years. Finally, it looks like the 2026 ZX-6R is getting an updated cockpit. A full high-resolution TFT display is basically confirmed at this point, and they're rumored to be updating the switchgear to something more premium. Bluetooth connectivity, ride modes, navigation integration, maybe even traction control customization. All the modern features that 600cc bikes should have had ages ago. It feels like Kawasaki is trying to bring the ZX-6R up to the same digital standard as their leader bikes, and honestly, it's about time. Now about the performance numbers. The engine, still a 636cc inline-4, is expected to get internal upgrades to make it Euro 6 compliant without killing the top-end rush. And if the hybrid boost rumors are true, this might be one of the quickest accelerating 600s ever built. We're probably looking at something around the mid-120s in horsepower, but with electric torque down low that makes it feel like a bigger bike. Think of it as a ZX-6R that behaves like a mini ZX-10R in the first half of the rev range, but still screams like a traditional Supersport when you open it up. Pricing is where things get interesting. With all the tech upgrades, Kawasaki will probably have to raise the price, but from what analysts are guessing, they want to keep it competitive. So instead of jumping into superbike territory, we might see it land around the mid-$11,000 to $12,000 range. Expensive, sure, but if you compare that to how much tech and performance they're supposedly squeezing into this thing, it actually sounds like a pretty solid value, especially when other brands are slowly stepping back from the 600 class. And that brings us to one of my favorite parts, how it stacks up against past ZX-6Rs. Longtime fans will remember the 2013 and 2019 models being absolute benchmarks. Those bikes had personality, that iconic high-rev punch, and a chassis that felt so confidence-inspiring. The 2026 model seems like it takes all of that heritage and then adds a whole decade of tech onto it. Instead of just being a track-focused machine, it feels like Kawasaki wants to make this the most versatile 600 they've ever built. More comfortable, more feature-packed, and more future-ready without losing that classic Ninja attitude. And honestly, it's refreshing. In a world where mid-size supersports were basically on the verge of extinction, Kawasaki isn't just keeping the ZX-6R alive, they're evolving it. They're saying, yeah, people still care about 600s, and they're backing that up with innovation instead of nostalgia. The idea of a partially hybrid ZX-6R with improved real-world usability and a premium cockpit. That just sounds like the kind of bold move the segment needed. If everything we're hearing turns out to be true, the 2026 Ninja ZX-6R could end up being the bike that redefines what a middleweight supersport is supposed to be. Faster, cleaner, smarter, and more versatile, without losing the thrill that made people fall in love with the ZX-6R in the first place. And honestly, I can't wait to see Kawasaki officially reveal it. The 600 class comeback might just start right here.